Whisper this to yourself 3 times a day, 10 or 20 times, and you will find that you can create and manifest anything you want to come into your life. And you don't have to visualize anything. You don't have to write anything down. You don't have to believe it to be true. All you have to do is whisper this 3 times, 10 to 20 times a day. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're getting into my book, which is You Are the Way. This is chapter 3.8. Is there a reason for everything? Does God expect something from us? I'm going to break this down because we're going to get into an exercise where you don't have to visualize anything. You don't have to write anything down. You don't have to believe it to be true. All you have to do is whisper this and create a new version of yourself while you're whispering this, because that's what it does. It's going to change you. It's going to change you internally, because we know that the internal world is the only real world. And when you can change your internal dialogue, your internal imaging, it creates and projects an entirely different world, because the world is you pushed out. And this is where we're going to begin. Neville mastered this procedure, all right? Neville Goddard mastered this procedure, and this is why he was able to accomplish all the things that he accomplished and was able to create and manifest anything into his world. And Neville mastered this procedure and expressed it as follows. If we adopt the state of perfection, that is, that everything is perfect and excellent for us, then everything around us will become perfect and excellent. So this is where you change your concept of yourself and where the exercise comes in. You whisper this state of perfection, this affirmation within you. Whisper it to yourself, and it creates a powerful internal shift that makes your world and everything in it perfect and excellent, which will then project a different version of you and create and manifest the world that you want. But before we get into that, I want to break down a fundamental way where you can get into a state of receiving. And before you whisper this to yourself, I want you to work on getting into this state of receptivity, of receiving new things to come into your life. And it's very simple, and it comes with one word, and that's gratitude. But being in a state of receiving, you will create intensity and energy. You will enter into the spaces you want to and control your life consciously. And the easiest way to do that is through gratitude. And if you pay attention to the world very closely, and you notice that very successful people that are very successful, very wealthy, like Carnegie, JP Morgan, and Rockefeller, they were perceived as very friendly and grateful people, very friendly by their environment, as they thanked everyone for everything when they came into contact with anyone. They were very grateful and thankful for every interaction. And you can notice this with a lot of different successful people, that they are very friendly and very grateful in their environments. And the reason for this is because they have mastered the art of receiving, to be in a state of great things always coming into their life, regardless if that's actually happening or not. Their inner world is in a state of receptivity, and they've mastered this, because if you're in a state of fear or a state of lack, or you're depressed, you can't be grateful at the same time. And fear, lack, and being depressed can't live in a grateful state of mind. If you're in a grateful state of mind, a thankful state of mind, fear, lack, and depression cannot live simultaneously at the same time with gratitude and being in the state of receiving. So you must master this art of being in a state of gratitude, because these other states can't live in that state at the same exact time. So if you're grateful, you can't be in a state of lack. If you're grateful, you can't be depressed. You can't be sad. If you're in a state of being grateful, none of these things can exist at the same time. So you must master this art. And there are also lots of studies that show that grateful people are healthier. They're more stress resistant, efficient, satisfied, optimistic, and joyful in life. And these are great side effects, but the true profound impact of gratitude and being in a state of receiving comes from the intense and positive feeling that reshapes our inner world and is thus positively reflected in our outer world and puts us in a state of receiving and attracting great things to come into our life. because God's gift to us and to himself is to be able to live the life we desire. The nature of these desires doesn't matter. Of course, I don't want to encourage unethical behavior, but God already knows about everything we do and don't do because, as we know, God lives within us. And when we use our imaginations, that is God at work. So every person you meet, every situation you experience, every manifestation is God, and therefore you yourself. And if you are one of the people that still doesn't believe or still hasn't had their manifestation come into their life simply or at all, I want you to disprove this. I want you to do this exercise. I want you to try this exercise. You don't have to visualize anything. You don't have to believe it to be true. You don't have to write anything down. All you have to do is whisper this to yourself 3 times a day, about 10 to 20 times. So 3 times a day, 10 or 20 times in those intervals. So repeat this right here. I am Christ. This is from Neville Goddard himself, his procedure. Okay. I am Christ. I am Christ. I am Christ. And you do this 3 times a day. You repeat this, I am Christ, 10 to 20 times in a row. And when you do this, be in a state of receptivity. So go into your gratitude, maybe write some things down where your gratitude, or think about something that you're grateful for in your life. Start pointing things out in your life and get into a state of receptivity or a state of meditation where your mind is kind of slowing down and you're able to receive, these great things to come to you. And in this state, you become more Christ-like because Christ lives within you. And it's said all through the Bible. All through the Bible, Christ lives within us. Okay? Christ lives within us. So what does that tell you? I am Christ. Christ lives within you. You are a co-creator with God himself. God is the imagination. So if you affirm, I am Christ, if you repeat this and you take the form of Christ and that the world is perfect and is excellent, you will change your inner dialogue. You will change the images in your mind and project an entirely different world into the screen of space. So you will then enter a world through the parallel realities, the infinite parallel realities, shift to that world where it is perfect and it is excellent and you have all the things that you want to have, and you'll start seeing your world shift. So if you have any doubts with the law of assumption, the law of attraction, any of this, try this exercise. Whisper this to yourself 3 times, 10 to 20 times. I am Christ. I am Christ. Then the same procedure with I am God. I am God. God lives within you. Christ lives within you. I am God. I am God. I am God. I am Christ. Not in an egotistical way. You don't say this in an egotistical way like you start telling everyone you're God. This is an internal world. You don't tell anyone what you're doing on the outside. The outside world will reflect the inner world. You do the inner work, and then that world is then projected out. You don't tell anyone in an egotistical way that you are God or you are Christ. You just affirm this to change your world for the better. You change the world for the better because God is good. Christ is good. You are good. So you affirm this and recreate the perfect world. You don't do it in an egotistical way or a hateful way or an angry way or an upset way. You do this to recreate your inner dialogue. That way you can start projecting the world and attracting great things to come into your life in a state of receiving. And by repeating this affirmation, sooner or later, it will be absorbed into the subconscious mind. So you continue to do this till you start seeing some changes in your 3-dimensional holographic world. Because once it's absorbed into the subconscious, then it'll start changing your inner dialogue. And then you'll be recreated from the inside out, and your world has to change with it. So it will eventually reflect the situation in your outer world that allows you to experience this truth, this inner truth you've now changed within you. And it will now project a better world. You'll start noticing different things start happening in your life. You'll start meeting new people. You start maybe find a new relationship, or the relationship you're already in is all of a sudden going to get way better, and they're going to be like a different person. And all of a sudden these great things are going to start coming into your life. More money's going to come into your life. Just good things are going to start coming into your life. And maybe it might not be all good things. Maybe there'll be some obstacles that you need to accomplish or conquer in order to create a new version of you to get to that higher level. but always take everything as if it's happening for your own good, for your own protection, to develop you into a new version of yourself. So whether it's good or bad, know that once you accomplish and conquer that obstacle, it will develop you into the new version of yourself that's going to be more God-like, more Christ-like. And then you're going to develop from there. Great things are going to start happening to you. So do this. Whisper this 3 times a day, about 10 to 20 times. I am Christ, I am Christ, I am Christ. And then the same procedure with I am God and I am God, I am God, and see the big shift that will happen in your life. All right, that is the end of this video. And don't forget to check out my free course, my free PDF workbook that's in the very first link in the description below. Go to my website and then scroll down to the bottom of that page. You will find my free PDF workbook on developing the muscle of the mind to be able to meditate, to be able to be more successful, to be able to focus on one thing for long periods of time, to get and attract anything that you want to come into your life. And that's the very first link in the description below. Don't forget to give me one thing you are grateful for, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I love you very much.
Well, mine is not theory. I go into these states.